Hi, I'm Tom and this is Adult Game Reviews. You ever wanted to be the cool private eye detective like Sherlock Holmes, Philip Marlowe, Hercule Poirot, or Jessica Jones?
I'm planning to sit here and drink until I come up with a better plan.
No? How about Jessica Fletcher or Ace Ventura?
This house is clear.
Okay, well maybe not the last two, but here's your chance with The Curse of the Pearl Necklace. I haven't played a game where you get that old school feeling of being a private eye since Deviant Anomalies, but that game had so many problems. Is The Curse of the Pearl Necklace the gold standard for detective VNs, or does it go on the trash list with so many games that couldn't quite get it right? Let's find out. First, if you like the video, please like it and subscribe if you aren't. Also, if you haven't seen my tier list that I released over the last couple of weeks, you should check it out right after the video. Thanks all. Okay, so The Curse of the Pearl Necklace. You play the ex-pro boxer who got injured while serving in the military in a war that looked a lot like Vietnam. Once you get home, with your boxing career destroyed, you get set up as a private detective. Your first case resolves pretty quickly. You then get hired to find an antique pearl necklace that was stolen under everyone's gaze at a local Who's Who gala. Everyone from the mayor to the local mob boss was at the party and anyone could be a suspect. Okay, let's get into visuals. This is one of the few games that you actually see the main character consistently. He's young and good looking, and all the characters' faces and character models are done quite well. Even the women that are supposed to look older look age appropriate and still beautiful. So many games make middle-aged characters look like shriveled prunes, or they look like the mom from Eternum who doesn't look a day past 22.
I'm not a day over 21.
All in all, the visuals are well done. The audio is also mostly another strength. Now, there aren't a ton of sound effects, but the music is perfect for this game. You have the melodic jazz that set the detective scenes perfectly. The only downside to the music is in some scenes the music can be fairly repetitive, but the music and visuals really help emphasize the gritty detective noir feeling, even though I wouldn't really describe this as a noir, but more on that later. The biggest surprise of The Curse of the Pearl Necklace is the humor. The VN is funnier than I expected, and the MC can be incredibly witty. To make an MC to be the wisecracking, quick-witted detective takes some good writing for it to make sense, and luckily, the writing is great. I did notice the infrequent typo, but for the most part, the writing was well done. There were specific times where the MC was giving a hard time to a mobster who then wanted to kill him. And these scenes could be really funny, and I totally get why people wanted to kill the MC because his wit can be pretty biting.
You have never read the Bible, have you, Sean? Genesis, Exorcist, Leviathan, do the right thing. Oh my gosh. Stop talking!
Okay, so let's get into the plot and choices. Right now I played through 5 chapters, which took me close to, 8 to 10 hours with multiple playthroughs. At the moment, I didn't notice a ton of difference with every choice. For instance, when choosing between 2 girls to take to the big gala, it didn't seemingly matter which one you took. Then there's a choice later on where you had to decide who to tail from a restaurant. This gives completely different info and scenes depending on who you followed. This made me want to go through all the choices to see which choices matter and which didn't. I was pleasantly surprised that some choices actually mattered and changed some scenes. The story and plot do many things well, with the exception of one big gaping plot hole with the world building.
Phrasing. Shut up!
I originally thought the time period when this game is supposed to take place is like the 1920s. However, it feels like we're just jumping to different time periods. You have scenes where it feels like you're in the 1920s or 40s, or others where you're in the 70s and 80s. The biggest atmosphere breaker is when going back to your experience during the war. Now, I want to say these scenes are very well done, but I was so confused when you're basically in Vietnam. You come back from the war and it feels like you're in the 1920s again, except when you're at the police station, which feels like the 80s or 90s. So it's pretty clear I have no idea when this game is supposed to take place. I was able to ignore these plot holes most of the time, but it wasn't always easy to do so. The other issue with the plot is the MC is kind of an idiot early on. Luckily, this is part of his growth arc as he learns how to be a private eye.
You really are just a simple creature.
Overall, I thought The Curse of the Pearl Necklace was fantastic, so this is a play for me. I enjoyed all the love interests, and it's been a long time since I got into an old detective story. Now, my only hope is that we get more time with Ms. Bellarosa. If you want to check out The Curse of the Pearl Necklace, you can do so over on itch.io, but with all the issues happening over there, I think it would be better to check it out over at The Curse of the Pearl Necklace's Patreon. The link is in the description. I want to thank all my backers on Patreon and Subscribestar, and if you haven't seen my part 2 of my very large tier list, you can check it out right here. Thanks again. Until next time.